Hi, I'm Awadallah. I'm the Managing Director of Blue Haven Pools. I started Blue Haven Pools back 41 years ago after I lost a job as a salesman with a company that was doing swimming pools. I was working with them for a few months and then they weren't in business anymore. So I've decided it's a great business, so started Blue Haven Pools back then. Well, to do swimming pools to cater for the market, the massive market. I mean, Sydney market, there is a real lot of hot areas like the western suburbs, the south. They don't get much beaches, and I wanted to sell a real lot of pools. And the goal was to make as many little kids happy as I possibly could. Haven Pools would have built, I don't know, literally probably 100 to 100,000 pools over the years, over the last 41 years.
How many pools do you build per year?
Well, when we first started Blue Haven Pools, we were mainly concentrating on the above ground pools and the semi in ground. And the volume there was ran about the 5 or 6,000 pools a year, plus the ones we wholesale. Then we went into fiberglass pools. Well, fiberglass pools, still there was a pretty high volume, more like 3,000, 2,500 a year, plus the semi in ground. Then we eventually started on concrete pools, and we were averaging a few years ago about 3,500, or as low as $2,500, about 2,500 pools about 4 or 5 years ago. It gives me a real lot of pleasure to see the business growing and always catering for all this huge, massive consumer demand and the involvement of above ground fiberglass equipment, concrete, and so on. It gives me a real lot of pleasure to watch it all grow. Well, every pool that I see going into a backyard or with someone, knowing very well that the kids are really enjoying themselves, it gives me a real lot of pleasure to see families getting together. See, unfortunately these days, and even for the last 20 years when I had my kids growing, I found that having a swimming pool in the backyard keeps the family together, keeps the kids together, they bring their friends over. And so when I see a pool going in someone's backyard, I know that family is a little bit closer together. Ozzy Pools, that's a quick story there. I wanted to start building or selling above ground pools in America. And the only state in America that the name Blue Haven wasn't registered was Texas. So straight away I registered it, got the trade name, got it right. We went to a show. The next thing is in the middle of the exhibition, I get something like about 10 lawyers walking in their suits. Hey, you can't have Blue Haven Pools. Why? I registered. Here's my registration. We have a grandfather's clause in here that says if you're known with that name, you don't have to register the name. And so we demand you pull all your names down and get out of our country. So no, easy. If that's the law, that's the law. I went in 5 minutes and changed the name from Blue Haven Pools to Ozzy Pools. Same logo, same elephant, same everything there. And I went to them and said, is that good? They said, great. And I made the best friend ever that's over there with Blue Haven Pools. We became the best of friends. The managing director of Blue Haven Pools in America with the Blue Haven Pool in Australia. Some of the most memorable commercials that we've done really was the first one where we put the elephant in the pool. I wanted to put an elephant in the pool to prove to everyone that our pool is the strongest. So I went to Bullen's Animal World. Some of you young ones might know what I'm talking about, but that's in Malaysia. They had a lion safari there, and Stafford Bullen had quite a lot of elephants there. I built a pool there, and I trained him to get in the pool. And we showed how strong our pool is. Another commercial we did was with John Singleton. when we launched the saltwater pool. We had John going into the sea, catching waves, saying how refreshing it is to have a saltwater pool, and back into a swimming pool, a Blue Haven pool. And when he came out in the pool, naturally we had to show the shark from behind him going around, which is me, underwater with a little fin. And the next thing is the shark at the end of the movie, or the end of the commercial, attacks John Singleton, and there's blood and bones and everything everywhere. This commercial was great. We launched saltwater pool with one exception. It was in bad taste, and they banned it from television unless we showed it after 10 o'clock or whatever, because it scared people. But the big thing about it is that we showed it in the movies. Just before the big movies would go on, you imagine a screen being that wide, and then the blood comes out from a beautiful, clear, crystal clear water. Blood was everywhere. Anyway, we got the point across that we do have saltwater pool, safe, you can swim in your backyard. Another commercial that I really recall very clearly is that we wanted to get leads or let the customers know that our pools are reasonably cheap and they don't cost the earth and everyone can afford it. So I sat there with John, he sat there on his little typewriter with 2 fingers, and we wrote this commercial, and we gave away a Boulder Opal and with any quote. So the thing is, if you want a free opal, you can only get it 2 ways. One, go into the mine and get it yourself, or just ring Blue Haven and ask them how much is your pool. They give you one of them. And with that commercial, we really did very, very well. The amount of people that rang just to get the opal, and when they found out the cost of our pool, they went crazy. Yeah, more commercials with Peter Sterling. We got him very, very famous with Blue Haven Pools to the extent that whenever he went out to give his talks to the kids at school, they all ask him, how's your elephant? Where do you hide your elephant? How's Blue Haven? What size pool do you have? He got sick of it there one day and he told me, I don't want to do your ads anymore because all the kids know me by is Blue Haven and the elephant and not my football career. But of course, it's in good fun. Peter Sterling was really, really great with us because he saw what we do in the company. He saw how the family operates together and how we look after customers there. And so he didn't really hardly do any commercials for anybody else, but he looked after us. Well, because Blue Haven Pools builds a huge number of swimming pools, you get people like BHP back in the old days with their steel, Nilex with their vinyl, all the concrete companies at the moment, because we build a lot of concrete pools, all the equipment suppliers, looking after our customers a lot more than anybody else's customers, because we give them volume. So when you do volume, it's rather than speaking about 40 or 50 pools a year and you try and get your customer be looked after by a big company. They don't really look after you. By having the volume, we get backed up so well by all our suppliers and we're able to offer the latest equipment, the latest of everything. They launch their equipment straight with us. Just like the mineral pool. The mineral pool, there's no way anybody, any small company could have a mineral pool like that unless they buy it from somebody else. Well, we've made our own and it's just going incredible. Rather than having all the chlorine effect on your hand and the bleaching or whatever, we got minerals in the water, which really gives you that nice, great, crispy feeling, the smoothness of it there. It's a brilliant invention. There's no way I would have done it unless we have volume. Also, the quality of our product is really, really tremendous. I mean, over the last 40 years, I've learned a real lot. I've been overseas in America every year to look at all how the other people are building and all that, and gather this experience and bring it here into Australia. I sit there with our contractors, our supervisors, our builders, quality control. We got it to a fine art. I mean, if we weren't doing it right, we wouldn't last 40 years. So the quality is really, really important. I know volume works, but at the same time, it brings the quality. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a volume.